following episode contains language and descriptions of violence and self-harm. It may not be appropriate for all listeners, but it was my life. Discretion is advised. What up, what up? Welcome back to another episode of Roll Call with Chappy. I got a special treat for you guys again. My boy Terrell Wallace owns, I'm going to let him get it all down to you guys, but do me a favor, like, share, subscribe to the show, and I'm going to let him introduce himself to you because he is an entrepreneur, just a hustler, motivator, just really inspirational, just always doing positive stuff, and it's kind of just what I mess with now. So introduce yourself to the fans, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm Terrell Wallace. I'm 35 years old. I've been building my brand Leaders Only since about 2019. I've been an entrepreneur, for like 10, 15 years now, and it's just been a grind. You know, it's been a blessing, and I've been able to like share my message with my personal brand and accumulate a lot of followers and a lot of support throughout the years. And it's been a complete blessing, bro.
Cool. So I just had Blake Clark on here, who owns a big real estate firm, and I thought that dude was like a trust somebody. If you'd ask me like how he grew up, and complete opposite, like homeless at 8 years old. So I always like to get into everybody's stories on where they grew up, how they came about. Yeah. So like start from your kid. Where'd you grow up, and how'd you get into the whole thing you're doing?
Cool. So I grew up in Portland, Oregon. I was born in Newark, New Jersey. So Newark, New Jersey, if anybody knows about Newark, New Jersey, it's pretty rough. You know what I mean? It's definitely the projects. But I was blessed. I was thankful that my dad, my parents divorced, and so we had to move all the way across the country. So my dad got me out of the hood, out of the project at an early age. So I was thankful for that. So I grew up. Luckily, I grew up in the suburbs in Oregon. You know what I mean? And my parents did really well for themselves, and they raised me. And I just kind of built my brand and built myself from there. You know, I played college basketball all my life. Literally traveled everywhere for basketball. So that was my life growing up. It wasn't until that I graduated high school and then I didn't get accepted to the college I want to go to, because I had actually given up playing basketball because I was like, you know, I was kind of living vicariously through my dad. And I didn't get accepted, so I had to figure out, you know, is either get a job or, you know, figure it out. So I was like, or go to college. So I ended up getting a scholarship to play at a different school in Idaho. And it was just by luck. Like one of my homies was like, hey, bro, he's like, I'm playing here. Do you want to play here? You want to try out? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah. And I ended up getting picked, and it was a blessing. So I did that for 2 years until I got kicked off my team because, you know, basketball just kind of it was second nature, bro. I've always been an athlete. It's just like I was just always good at it. But I got kicked off my team because I party a little bit too much. I like to have a good time.
I had that problem too.
Yeah, so I like to have a good time, bro. You know what I mean? So I wasn't focused on basketball because it was just something I was good at. So I came home, and my parents were like, again, either you can get a job or go to school. So I tried to be a student for the first time in my life and not play sports. And that was, honestly, bro, that was new. It was a new world for me, and I was like, this ain't for me. So I ended up actually picking up a gig working for modeling for Nike, and that changed my life. That changed.
How'd you get that?
Oh, bro, it was literally because
a lot of people I try to tell them like you're literally one phone call, one text message away from just catching a break and changing life. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, it was literally I was sitting. I'll never forget that. I was sitting in my dorm room, and one of my homegirls from high school, she sent me a DM or email actually at the time, because this was back in the day. And so she sent me an email. She goes, "Hey, they have this opportunity to go to this audition and work for Nike." And I'm like, bro, I'm not a model, bro. Like I'm an athlete. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't do all that. It felt weird. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was like, this is weird. But I was like, you know what? I got nothing to lose. I'm not playing basketball no more. Yeah. I'm just in college, sitting in my dorm room, just going to school, bored as hell. And so she sent that email, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go try it out. And I remember I showed up, and I was like, I almost turned around, bro. I was walking to it, and I was like, I'm just not this type of person. You know what I mean? I'm not like, you wouldn't think that like from my, from my social media stuff
where
like
you
that.
Are
like,
now,
bro. Like I wasn't me, because I wasn't into like taking pictures and all that stuff. Like it just wasn't my thing. Even though, contrary to popular belief, my parents were models. That's how they met.
Really?
But yeah, they met in New Jersey.
That's where you get those pretty boy looks from.
So, but for me, it wasn't for me, bro. I was a straight hooper. So like, I did that. I said fuck it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to this audition. I have nothing to lose. And so since I was an athlete and everybody there, they were a bunch of pretty boys, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah. So like they weren't really athletes like that. So I'm over here, I'm cooking them, you know what I mean? And I'm like dunking and doing all this stuff. They're like, okay, bet, we like you. So I got picked. And then I got picked, and so then I did my first shoot. And my first shoot, I'll never forget. They were like, can you be more confident? I'm like,
stop.
Yeah, bro. And I'm pretty fucking confident. You know what I'm saying? So they're looking at me like, we need you to do this. And I'm like, this is my first time doing this. You know what I'm saying? But it worked out. I ended up being, I'm really good at building relationships with people. I have a lot of connections, and I built a lot of relationships over the years. And I built a relationship with the creative director, and she is the one that really put me on. She's like, hey, my girl, she owns a modeling agency, and then she delivered that to them.
Dope.
And then from there, it just took off, bro.
What were your plans in college at the time? What did you want to do after
Oh,
this?
dude, I think I was in like communications, bro. Like I was on some bullshit degree, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
I know so little about school. I don't even know what that degree is. But I feel like my wife's made fun of those kind of degrees.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
She probably got a communications major.
Yeah,
like,
no, 100%.
better than what I got.
Most athletes, they go to school to get a communications degree.
'Cause it's easy just and they got a
it gets
degree,
them
right?
through and they can play. So I was doing that, and like, you know, that at that time when I first started modeling for Nike, I got picked. I was like, okay, I'm getting on this money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to build something. You know what I mean? I can't just be. Of course, I went and had a good time. You know what I mean? I was doing, in your 20s, you have a good time. But I was like, I got to put this money somewhere because I know it's not going to last forever. That's when I started my first clothing line. It was called Rebel Minds because I was just a rebel child. I just did whatever I wanted.
You always like clothing or something like that, or what?
It wasn't even that, bro. It was the internet. It was the internet, bro. Once, because this is like, I'm 35, so we're going back. Like before like Twitter and stuff like, what it is now. It's like I saw an opportunity. I saw Twitter. I was like, yo, like I can touch thousands of people right now. Like I never, before people had clothing brands, it was kind of a sacred thing. It's like, if you to do that because you need production, you need distribution. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have these things, you can't make it work.
How are you gonna send out leads?
Exactly.
Without Instagram stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So I saw social media and I was like, okay, I can just press a couple buttons. I can touch this many people. I was like, okay, I'm going ham. So that's what I started doing. I started taking my money that I was making from modeling. I started investing in my own clothing brand. Obviously, I over leveraged. I bought too much inventory.
Way too much inventory. You got left with like 6 mediums and 2 extra
bro.
smalls,
I was just sitting on shit, and I was like, bro, this is a lot harder than I thought it would be. You know what I mean? And then trying to get people to buy it. You know what I mean? And I'm just like trying to figure out what am I doing? I have no business experience. In school I didn't pay attention. I was just kind of just like hustling. You know what I mean? I go to like different shows I get invited to, and I get to set up a table and still try to sell then. But that was like my first take of like trying to be an entrepreneur and start a business. And that's what really, I learned a lot during that time, bro. A lot of failures.
How much would you say, because you had both your parents in the house, and are they still married?
No, my parents divorced when I was like, I'd say like 4 or 3.
Okay, but then they were still like co-parenting and were both involved.
Yeah, so what happened was me and my brother, which I think is fucked up. My brother, I went with my dad, and my brother stayed with my mom.
That's what me and my brother did.
So they split us up.
Yeah.
I think that was, I tell them to this day, so I can say this on here, I think that was the most fucked up decision they could have ever done, is splitting us up. Yep. And so we didn't, my dad and my stepmom, they were pretty well off. My mom, she was just getting by. And obviously East Coast, West Coast, my little brother grew up, it's so funny how we're so different. My little brother grew up in harder times, like way less money, and I grew up in a more affluent area, and we're complete opposites, but we're completely the same. I'm the more rebellious one, he's the more calm one. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's weird how that works because he grew up in a harder place than I did because my dad took me out earlier, and I grew up in a more safer place, but it switched. You would think it would be different. Yeah. And that growing up, I kind of resented my parents for that because I was like, yo, you shouldn't split your brothers up. Sure. You know what I mean?
How much do you think your dad had like an impact on your life growing up too? Because especially, it's really hits home to me now that I got kids and stuff like that. And I'm legit the best. And not to talk trash on my dad, but like I am the dad. Like I change every diaper. I literally do everything with him all day long.
Hell yeah.
And you realize how much my son follows me. Anything I do, like if I go to wash my hands and like go to put my hands on a paper towel, he's doing
the same thing.
Same thing right next to me. He follows everything I do. And it's crazy all the dads that just make kids and don't take care of them. You know what I'm saying? Like so that's what I'm saying. Like especially in your community, it's really prevalent. So like and I'd want this to trigger something with the listeners too, like how big of an impact it was having your dad in there, because there's a lot of dudes listening that are in the joint that ain't never done shit to their kids. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they don't realize, and it's never too late to fix it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It is, bro. I don't even know why I'd be without my father, man. My father he's instilled so much leadership skills and so much things and confidence in me that the world couldn't tell me shit. You know what I'm saying? My dad literally told me I was the greatest thing to walk this earth. And that's what I preach to my son right now. I tell him I love him, but my dad told me he loved me. There's so many parents that go through it, and I've talked to that. Their fathers never told them they loved them. You know what I mean? I can't stress on how important it is to tell your child you love them. You know what I'm saying? Because my dad used to tell me that, but he was hard ass. He wasn't easy. You know what I mean? I used to get my ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? And
All three of us were the
yeah,
same
you know what I
story,
mean? And he was like, he was going through, he was trying to figure out, there ain't no manual to this shit. He's trying to figure out his life and also while raising me. So his frustrations would get the best of him. You know what I'm saying? I could tell, as I got older, I could tell, like, okay, now that I realize, I'm like, okay, it wasn't because of what I was doing, because he was going through shit himself. You know what I'm saying? But he still made a valiant effort to let me know that I was the coolest motherfucker to walk this earth, that I could be anything I want, to never follow a fucking crowd, and that you are it. You know what I'm saying? Keep following that. So that's why my message to even my son, I tell my son every day, I love him. When he was born, I tell my son at least 50 times a day, man.
I love watching your stories when you just like said you spent the day with your son. I'm like, because instantly right then I'm like thinking, God, why do not more dads do that shit? You know what I'm saying? Isn't that the best too?
It is the best.
There's nothing. The only thing you can compare it to is like dogs. Like I said, because a dog you can kick 10 times over and they still love you. Like your son is obsessed with you. You know what I'm saying?
It's unconditional.
And all they want to do is spend time with their dads. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Especially with the boy.
Absolutely. And the love hits different, bro. I can't. I try to tell people. I'm like, I can't put into words the type of love I have for my son, bro. Like I would do anything for him.
Yeah, like I have ADD and ADHD so bad. Like I don't watch movies. I can't even remember the last movie I watched.
Yeah.
But like me and my son will get up every morning and watch a little dog movie together every day. Just
yeah.
When he's snuggling on me, just knowing that he's right there,
it's healing, bro.
Just chill,
it's
bro.
Healing, bro. It's
and
healing.
It's also cool knowing that like my son can grow up in the house he grows up in and with the parents he grows up in because of the shit I've done. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Instead of being the shit that I did the opposite way. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how it used to be. You know, and even when I had my son at first, I was scared to death. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, I'm gonna screw this shit up so bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and it still affects me so bad. I realize because like I think of crazy stuff, and I'll ask my wife all the time, like, you don't ever worry about this with Quincy? She's like, I've never even thought of that. She's
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
Why do you think about that? And I'm like, I don't know. I just rack my brain on everything. Because like, I rack my brain literally when I'm at home now, just like thinking, what could possibly go wrong, and how do I make sure that we never ever get to that situation? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, the front door could be open. One of the
100%.
I think literally the Mexican lawnmower could run up here and snatch my son, but I never even think twice about it. Like, Quincy just started getting out of it. I'm just so you know, I'm so paranoid. He just climbed out of his crib 2 days ago for the first time ever. I freaking put duct tape on the front door deadbolt just in case there's a 1% chance he decides to go up there and get out there. You know what I'm saying? But like, he gets up there and just comes in our room. Now it's 5:10 when he comes in, he wants a bob, and like all he wants is his dad. Like, so I haven't even made this public yet, but I just quit my job again last Friday, and I haven't even told social media anything like that. But like a lot of it was, you know, I had to pull him out of daycare. I've read a lot of parenting books now. I realize like how much the first year and 1 to 3 years is like shapes your kids.
Absolutely.
And I know. It's shitty to think that I know how fucked up I am inside, so I just want to make sure that I do everything to where my son doesn't have any of that in him. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
so
absolutely.
I walked away from that, and you know, I just want to try and raise my son and just kick all this stuff back up. But I just did all that and just been praying a ton, bro. But like, my son needed me at home, bro, and like, it is what it is. A lot of countries, they'll give you 1 year to 3 years off for people having kids. You know, like Denmark, you get 3 years off. The husband gets 1.5 years off because. That's when they're shaping all that important stuff in the kids' brains, so they need that time with their parents. And like, there's a lady I want to shout out. Her name is Erica Komisar, but I don't know if you've heard of her. She's like a parenting expert, like just some psychoanalyst, whatever. But I've been listening to a lot of her parenting stuff. Right. And she's the one that told me to take your kids out of daycare. And she's like, they're screaming they don't want to go to daycare because they don't want to go to daycare. And when they're in a place they don't want to go, they have horrible anxiety and their senses are all on edge. And that's when they have ADD and ADHD. I mean, my son they had to put him with the older kids because he was misbehaving so bad. And he was bigger than the 2-year-olds. And then he started like beating up the 2-year-old kids. So we literally had to pull him out of daycare. We pull him out of daycare and he's home with me. He's perfect.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? That's how much it matters having a kid like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why, you know, that's what, for my son too, like, he's very articulate. He's very like, he's 5, you know what I'm saying? But he's like, he's been around adults majority of his life because we do homeschooling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he's homeschooled. So he learns from us and he learns from a specific curriculum. And so, like, when he talks to people, people are like, he's very articulate. I'm like, what are you guys doing at home? Like, we try not to deprive him. Yeah, we try not to deprive him of socializing with kids his age. But even when he's around kids his age, it just doesn't translate. You know what I'm saying? He'll be like, she's annoying. He's annoying. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? He's like, and it's like he recognizes in his be able to recognize context with words. It's like he's just more developed because he just learns from home. He's not conditioned by kids that are at school, in public school. And I'm not shaming public school by any means, but their environment shapes them. Yeah. You know what I mean? So when he's at home, it's easier to like educate him and teach him like real life lessons and, you know, and teach him things that, you know, how to communicate effectively and also regulate his emotions too, because, you know, kids, when they're emotional, they let it go.
You just have one boy?
Yeah. So yeah, I have one boy. My girl she has a son and a daughter. So he has a brother and a sister.
What are the age differences?
13, 11.
Okay, dope. And where's your brother at right now?
My brother's in Oregon.
You guys still cool?
Hell yeah, that's my dog. That's my best fucking friend.
All right, let's circle back to college. So the modeling thing happens. Yeah. You get some traction there. Then where do you go from there? And then,
so from there, you know, I was like, okay, I'm trying to figure this out. I tried my clothing line. I didn't do too great at it because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And so then that's where I figured out.
Most people just give up at that. You decided to try it again.
Oh yeah, no, I did give up low key. I was like, okay, let me. I found network marketing actually. You know what I mean? So I was like, just like every other young person, they get swayed in. You know what I mean? They get sold. But the thing about it is, I tried one network marketing, failed, another one failed, another one, and then the third one, it took off. And I had like 20,000 people on my team. So I built a huge, huge network, and that actually built and shaped my network that I have today. And
How did that one work so well and the others didn't?
Because I'm a man of relationships, bro. So while building that, I connected with so many people online because I had my Nike presence. So I leveraged that to build my personal brand. You know what I mean? And once I did that, I started connecting, and I was the only one in network marketing who was actually building a personal brand. Everybody was selling a product. I was selling myself. You know what I mean? So the more I sold myself, selling the product was easy. You feel me? So people started buying into that.
People buy who they like.
Absolutely. And so as I started building my personal brand, people were like, dude, he's the only one that's like, he has a logo for himself. You know what I'm saying? He has all this. And they're trying to sell the product. And again, I was selling myself. So they like kind of gravitated toward that. And that's why I started building my following online. It was huge because it was network marketing. And I found one company, I told one person, and then boom, from all my relationships, that shit took off. And next thing you know, I'm making fucking $25,000, $30,000 a month. My life changed dramatically. You know what I mean? And then from there, after a couple of years, the company went down to shit.
Right.
Because they said that we had more business owners instead of customers. And you can't have that in a network marketing space. Because if you have more IBOs and actual customers, it's considered a Ponzi. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
It's considered
What's
a
an
Ponzi.
IBO? Individual?
So, independent business owner.
Okay.
So you sign a 1099, you're basically a distributor, but if you're not selling the product and you're just selling the opportunity, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, okay.
So the FTC, they came in, they cracked down on the owner, and it was so funny, bro. I remember I've been living good at that time, bro. Like I was chilling, and I remember I was fucking in my bathroom. I got a call from the lady from the owner's assistants, like we need you and then a bunch of other people who are making hella money too, to fly down to Vegas tomorrow. And I was like, oh shit. I knew this is the end. I was like, fuck. And so we flew in. They basically said that, the FTC is coming for the owner, blah, 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 blah. We got to do this, that, and the third. Lost my income. Shit sucked. You know what I'm saying? But I had so much. I was also working with another company called Enagic where I was selling like water ionizers. And so I had built a team over there on the side because I knew something was going on.
Okay.
You feel me? So I had money making there. So then that's when so once that ended, what's funny is what's fucked up is that they actually rebounded. Found out because I quit because I was like, dude, I'm not dealing with this shit. So I quit, but they rebounded. And so all my friends that stayed, multimillionaires.
No way.
So I'm sick to this day, bro. I still have a spot above everybody. But since I left, all my friends became millionaires.
No
multimillionaires. Way. And I was sick. I was like, bro, what the fuck?
That probably put you in a depression.
It honestly, at the time, I wasn't really tripping because I was like, I know me, I can bounce back. But it did suck.
Where does that come from?
Ooh, that comes from...
Most people don't have that. Like, most people have a clothing brand that fails, and they just fail. I'm like, oh, let me go try something different.
I'm pride, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I'm like, I know I'm meant to be something. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I have a gift. I say this humbly, but, like, I feel like I have a gift. People kind of gravitate toward me. So I know God didn't put me on this earth not just to do regular shit. You know what I'm saying? I know I was meant to, and I think it comes from my dad, bro. From my dad telling me all my life that how fucking great I was. I think it's been instilled since I was a little kid subconsciously that I can't just settle for just average, bro. Like I gotta be above. I gotta do something, and like my pride and my ego gets in the way. Sometimes it gets the best of me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But it also has propelled me.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for that. But I just keep going, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a blessing. So I keep doing that. Lost all that. The Enagic deal, or I had the Enagic going, and then that's when I came to Arizona. There's so many stories, bro.
Where were you before that? Vegas?
Huh? No, I was living in Portland.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's when I came to Arizona.
What made you come to Arizona?
So I had partners, relationships I built. I hooked them up together. They ended up having a baby. You know what I'm saying? From the relationships I built, I was like, hey, meet this person. They connected. We were all making money together. Have a nice crib in the hills. We had a heated fucking pool in Oregon. That's like unheard of. You know what I'm saying? So we were living the good life. They ended up having a baby. They're like, we're about to have a baby. You kind of got to go. So I'm like, the fuck? Like, I got undercut. Like, yeah, bro. I was like, I built this shit. You know what I'm saying? You guys wouldn't even know each other. Yeah. And so I had $7,000 to my name, bro. And I was like, well, fuck. You know what I mean? I'm out then. So.
And that was what, you were 30, 5 years ago?
Yeah, I was 26.
No way.
Yeah, I was 26, 27. And
Were you scared, or were you thinking, you already made some money, so you're like, I'm going to figure some shit out down there?
I was scared because I never left my hometown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've never left my hometown, and, you know, even at 25, 26, you know, I still have my family, you know what I mean? I always had, like, I always lean on if I ever need anything. And so I just like, you know what? I always wanted to go to Arizona. I was like, I like the sun, you know what I mean? And so I left, and I came here, and shit didn't pan out. I still have my adjectives where I was selling the waternizer, so I was doing decent. But then that shit started to crumble, bro. At that time, I had just bought a new Camaro. You know, when the new body styles just came out before the old ones. Yeah. I had put 22-inch Bostons on that shit. It was fire too, bro. My shit got repoed, bro. My girlfriend at the time. I walked out of Target, bro. My shit got repoed. My girl's like,
with the rims and everything.
Yeah, bro, everything. Bro, they found my shit. I was like, yo, this is embarrassing. My girlfriend at the time, she was like, I went to Target security. I'm like, I think someone stole my car. You know what I'm saying?
I would have played off like that.
Yeah. They're like, no, your car got repoed. I was like, oh. Like, so, yeah, I was like, oh, shit, okay. Well, so I lost the whip, and so it was either pay my rent or
what did your chick say? Was she cool? Or
she was chill. She was chill at the time.
Happens, huh?
Yeah, she was like, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I know deep down she's like, damn, that fucking sucks. But she was chill at the time. So I was embarrassed, but I was like, it is what it is. I'm not tripping. I'd rather have somewhere to live than fucking not have a car. You know what I'm saying? And so that's when I met once I got rid of my car, shit just went downhill from there, bro. And then like that's when the girl. So the same girl, well, we were out partying one time. My boys came to visit, and we were out partying, and I got some girl's number or whatever, and she had called. My girl at the time didn't want to come to the club or whatever. So the girl called. She called my FaceTime when we were leaving. My girl's at my crib, and obviously you have the iMac, right? She called. Her name and she's like, "Who the fuck is this?" She took my keys and left. So I couldn't even get into my house, bro. Stop. Yes, bro. So I had all my friends here. We couldn't even get into my house. And my boys had met Micah, bro. And that's when
How'd they meet Micah? Shout out to Micah Kessler.
Yes, bro.
For those that don't know him, he's one of the greatest human beings. I don't even know how to describe him, right?
That is one of my best friends. I love him with all my heart, bro. He's a big 6'2", just fucking tatted ass dude, but just the most kind-hearted.
Straight teddy, bro, like the nicest. Most
bro.
This is all his shit he owns too.
Let's
just use this on GP.
Yeah, and shout out to bro. So
shout out to and Demi Bagby, his beautiful wife too.
Absolutely.
Just a great people right there.
Absolutely. So I went to his house and he's like, you know, you can stay here until you get your keys.
He's like he almost feels like it's a setup, right, with him. Like you're like, dude, what's the catch?
No, when I first met,
you're
bro,
like, there's no way you're this nice.
Bro, like, I thought he was part of Aryan Brotherhood, bro. I was like, bro, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, bro, like I was like, I don't know if you fuck with me like that, bro. Yeah. But then when we met,
shoe collection and shit like that. And
And he, you know, at that time, you know, he was. So we became like really close. You know what I'm saying? And he's my best friend.
What a blessing to meet a dude like him, you know, because he's pretty like. Especially now, like I would say, more private, just behind the scenes and shit like that.
Now he's super private.
Small circle, and
even back then he was way more private. His social media and all this shit now. I would have never saw this coming.
Yeah,
because I've known him for like almost 10 years.
And he don't even care about it. Just happened.
It just happened.
That's what my guys asked me if I had Mike on the show. I'm like, I don't even think he'd want to do this.
No,
Like he doesn't care about that stuff.
I thought about having him on my pod too, and I was
like,
he'd be like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's just chilling. Like I don't really want to do that. You know what I'm saying? You know his answer would probably be, he's like, listen, if it'll really help someone, I'll do it, but I don't really want to.
Yeah, that's exactly what his answer would be. And so, so I met him, and he became one of my best friends, bro, and I've been living here ever since, and once I had
How did you meet Micah?
So, bro, it's such a long story. So the same
we got time?
So the same person that hooked up and had a baby at my old crib in Portland, she had met Micah on a plane because he was flying back and forth with his old job. He had a store location out in Portland. She had met him on a plane. It's because we were selling these ironers, so she tried to pitch him to sell ironers with us. So he came. He came to our house and sat down, kicked it with us for a little bit just to kind of check it out. And I remember, like, I had a bottle of Hennessy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was faded, you know what I'm saying? I was like, here, you want to hit this? And he's like, no, I'm good. So then after he came to party, but he didn't, you know, Micah don't drink like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's not like that. And he basically looked at us and told us, he goes, I would never join your guys' team. I would never sell with you guys. And like, it's just because it was just like we were like, you know, we were selling. You're
partying and shit like that.
Yeah, but we were having a good time. You know, I mean, I'm 25, 26. You know what I mean? Like, I was at a different mindset, and it just wasn't. I could tell like he was a more system. You know, he was working corporate at the time. You know what I mean? So he was very like streamlined shit, and it was like, no, I would never do that. You know what I mean? And so that's how we met. But then my boy Berto, who's a good friend of mine, had maintained relationship with him. Me, I was like, okay, bet the guy doesn't want to fuck with us. It is what it is. We talk to people all the time. But my boy Berto maintain relationships with him. That's just who he is. And he came to visit me, and that's when we got locked out. He called him, and he was like, yeah, I'll come pick you guys up. You can come to my house.
Stop.
Yeah, bro, he come to my house. And then I remember, never forget, I woke up in the morning, I was so hungover, and I had stayed there all day because I couldn't get my keys. And everybody else had left, and me and him, we went to go work out. And the next thing you know, bro, we've been locked in ever since, bro.
No
For
way.
10 years now. I'd say about 9 years now. And we just been locked in. Any problems, like we have a really dope relationship. You know what I mean? He trusts me, and I trust him with everything I have. And, you know, come from people that, like, are always giving, you know, you always get taken advantage of all the time.
Oh, man.
And you know what I mean? And so it's like,
There's not a dude more giving than him. Like,
that's what I'm
seriously.
saying. You know what I mean? And like I'm a very appreciative person, and like I was very overly appreciative with him because I genuinely appreciate everything he does. And I think he saw that in me as like, yo, he doesn't want ever take advantage of me. He doesn't take advantage of my kindness. He's like, he's just a good guy. And he saw that in me, and I saw him, you know what I mean, as a person. And then after that, our relationship just blossomed, bro.
Oh, yeah, I met him 4 or 5 years ago at the old Radford track and just clicked like this. And just
Yeah,
like, so
bro.
he's the only dude, like, never asked me for anything whatsoever.
he would never.
And, like, he'll text me and, like, can I do anything
Yeah,
for you?
bro.
Can I do a favor for you or something like that still to this day? And he's
Yeah.
as busy as he gets, you know?
And that's what, you know, and like he helped me out a lot of things, bro. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have like some of the cribs. I stayed at his old house before, you know what I mean? In Chandler, you know, he used to have a home there. I stayed at his crib for a little bit. And then even in the crib that I stay at now, he owns the house, bro.
You know, it's funny. I think a year or two ago when you were out there, I was just going to ask him too, because I was like in a few months between building the house and do something. I was like, I know Mike got that extra crib like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's the only dude you could literally ask, yo, can I stay at your house? And he wouldn't even think twice about it. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
facts. Because if my son was, everybody was moving out here, and he's like, he called me. He goes, hey, bro, this crib is available. You know what I mean? For you and all your family, so they can have somewhere to live. And I'm like, bro, thank you so much, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's never changed, bro. So like, I cherish him. And that's where I had my kid at one of my old spots where we both lived at the West Six together. He lived in the penthouse and I lived below.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He did. Good times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had my son there, and that's where Leaders Only was born, bro.
So tell me about that. How did Leaders Only born? How'd you think of it? And how'd you get it to where the hell you are now?
So my son was in my lap, bro, and I was reading a book by John C. Maxwell. He was 2 years old at the time. And it was talking about the 5 levels of leadership. And I was reading this book. My brain is thinking of my dad, telling me I'm always a leader, never follow anybody. So I put it all together, and I'm looking at my son. I'm like, I need to leave my son with something. You know what I'm saying? As a father, I need to leave him with something. When my time is done on this earth, only thing I leave with is a brand or a business, especially in this day and age. So I put it together. I was like, okay, I'm reading this book, leaders, and it just came to me. I was like, Leaders Only. I'm like, bro, that is.
Check, make sure it was a trademark.
Yeah. I was like, that name is fire, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, bet, let's run it. So that's when I started, did all my research, got LLC, got trademarks, all that stuff. And now we have it, and that's how it came about, bro.
Wow.
And that's how it came about.
So then break it down past that. You got the brand there. Were you finding fabrics from overseas and all that stuff, or how do you do it? Like,
oh, dude. So in the beginning, it was gonna be a clothing line. I was using China, bro. I went through samples and stuff like that, and they weren't turning out how I wanted to. And you know, it wasn't like I was selling clothes. It was great, but I realized that this is not a clothing brand anymore. This is more of an impactful brand. You know what I mean? And that's when I kind of switched it from a clothing brand to merch. So I can just sell clothes that represent the brand rather than trying to create a catalog, a storyline for the clothes. You know what I mean? That's usually what a clothing brand does. I wanted to create merch for the brand because I started posting quotes, motivational quotes to get people going, and they started taking off. And I was like, holy shit, bro! Like this shit is growing really fucking fast. Yeah. And it's like we're talking about I'm talking about heavy people are repping this and sharing these quotes. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna do that. So I doubled down on that and just started going fucking crazy, bro. Like everybody in my network, I had people hit me and be like, bro, I have friends in fucking Guatemala sharing my shit. Like, bro, I see your shit everywhere. And I'm like, hey, bro, I don't know. Like I just be talking my shit, bro. So I started posting all these and continue to do that. And it kept growing and growing and growing.
Did you know what you're doing or just posting? Or were you like research on how to do shit?
I was pretty versed in social media already. Okay. So once I see something that works, I double down. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna try to sit here and try to do something if I know something's working, right? So that's what I started doing. I started doubling down on the quotes and stuff like that, and it started building. But I hit a spot where, bro, like I got flagged for like false information or some shit. And Instagram, this was like year 2, and Instagram shadow banned me for like, they said 90 days, but it was a year. Mm-hmm. I was this close, bro, saying fuck this because my shit was just stuck.
I was just gonna ask you then, how'd you ride that out a year, bro?
It was the worst. I went through. Bro, it was I went through a dark time, you know what I mean? Because I was like one of my main things that was growing.
It sounds so petty, but that happened to me when I had my shit going before. And they shut my Instagram account. I lost for like 6 days. They gave back to like missing 15,000 followers or something like that. But it's like that's your livelihood. Like this is what you do. Like the next day you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do now? You know?
Right. It's your brand. You put your all into it. You know what I'm saying? So I put my all into that. People have known me for that. People know me. They already knew me through my personal brand. This was just like an extra brand because I wanted to test myself. I can build a brand without using my face. I've always used my likeliness to build everything that I've built in life. But I wanted to see if it was a true test that I can build something for my son that I didn't have to put my face on. And that's once I knew I did that, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm good at this branding shit. I know exactly what I'm doing. But I hit that spot, and they shut it for a year, bro. And like halfway through the year, I'm like, I'm trying. Once it hit 90 days, I was like, okay, bet they're gonna let me start moving back in, and they didn't. Bro, I was so sick.
The 6 months, you're probably ready to give up.
Yeah, bro, I was ready to be like, yo, like, I'm not gaining anything. I'm not growing. If I'm not growing,
What were you even considering back then doing?
I didn't even know, huh? I didn't even know. I had to figure it out. Like
Just to show how much people that think you have all the answers, you just figure shit out.
No, you figure, bro.
That's it.
That's half the fucking battle, bro. Either you're gonna fucking quit or you're gonna fucking keep going. You know what I'm saying? There's only the reason. A lot of people don't even realize that there's so much like, it's like with the brand, it's black and white because in life everything is black and white. You make decisions, you know, and then decisions have choices, or either you get it done or you don't. I believe there's gray areas in certain circumstances. But for the 90% of your life, everything is black and white. Either you do or you don't. Either you quit or you keep going. Either you win or you fucking lose. And that's why it's black and white, because I want it to send a message like either you're a leader or you're fucking not, bro. You know, either you're a leader or you're not. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of message I'm trying to send. So I was like, yo, I can't live this brand and be this brand and then fucking quit. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck would I look like? You know what I mean? I look at my son every day. You know? And at the time, bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. There was times where like I was looking at my son, because me having my son, I wasn't ready, you know what I mean, by any means. I wasn't planning on having, you know, my son. I hope you know, I'm gonna tell him the truth when he gets older.
For sure, yeah.
But I was not ready. I didn't want to do it, you know what I mean? And it was me looking at him in the eyes. I remember being at such a low point in my life that I looked at him in the eyes, and like I remember I go tears, you know what I'm saying? He's only 2 at the time, you know what I mean? And I would just cry, bro, because it was just like, it just broke my heart, because I'm like, I'm not where I want to be in life to give you the life that I think that you truly fucking deserve. And that shit used to fucking, bro, it used to haunt me, bro. Like, I went through some dark times for a little bit, bro, for like a summer, bro. I think it got really, really, really dark, and it was scary, bro, but I pulled myself out of it. I got blessed with a couple different opportunities to come back to Arizona, and then I started working with another clothing brand company that, basically doing what I'd love to do while he was still, my guy Derek, he would still let me run my brand. He's like, I don't want you to stop running your brand, but I would love for you to come work with us. And that opportunity brought me back to Arizona, because at that time, before that, I moved to Florida, bro.
Really? In Florida?
Yeah, bro. I was in Florida for a year. So I was just chilling. And yeah, so it brought me back. And then
what part of Florida? You just to figure shit out, or what?
Yeah, it was like all around Florida, bro. It was all around Florida. My credit at the time was shit, bro. So trying to find a place was a bitch. So I'm hopping to Airbnb to Airbnb to Airbnb to Airbnb.
Look at that. How long ago was that?
Dude, that was a year.
Stop.
Yeah,
Look at that, bro.
That was fucking, bro. Coming back here, that's why it was the lowest of my life, bro. Like, I was like, bro, so embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure it. I'm still trying to build my personal brand. You know what I mean? I don't want to be fake. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I don't flex. I don't stun on people. So like, I never have to worry about being like, having to like keep up an image. You know what I'm saying? So it was hard, because I'm like, I can't deliver a message to these people when I'm going through this shit myself. You know what I mean? I'm like, I want to inspire people. And I'm like, I'm going through my own shit.
Damn, that's fine. Dude, that's where I was the past 2 years. Not only was I busy, but like I was just seriously getting my head right for my kids, bro. Because like once you have those sons, you realize it's on you. Like I'm like, oh my God, I gotta fix myself.
It's a different beast, bro.
Because I was always just a hothead, you know. I've been a hothead, but I'm like, I can't be that no more with kids. I gotta fix my shit, you know. But then my therapist told me it's like, because I have so much built up shit inside me that anything that sets me off kilter, you just blow a gasket. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I got to get all that shit out. And that's what I've been in the process of doing myself too. You know, it's crazy because like, I don't know if you know, it's past years, I didn't even talk my stories anymore, really, because I was like just trying to spend time with my kids and just fix myself and just like literally trying to just figure life out now with kids, you know. And it's been like, but I've been in that same boat. Like, how am I supposed to preach these guys? I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing anymore,
bro.
And I felt fake, so I didn't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of healing for me to even to say that too, because like it's the first time I even came clean about that. Like my guys would tell me, like, why don't you post? I'm like, dude, I don't have shit to say no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out my own life right now, and that's fake as shit. If I'm on there trying to give you advice, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing.
Absolutely, and that's exactly where I felt, bro.
And 99% of people on Instagram should take that advice too and shut their freaking mouths.
Facts, bro, because You know, it's not a good look if you're trying to, you know, I get, you know, inspired because technically when you're trying to do that, you're trying to talk to yourself, but you can do that to yourself. You don't gotta like tell an audience this and now to give people advice when like you're not even taking your own advice.
Yeah, for
you know
sure.
What I'm saying that's the big thing. So, you know, I got out of that. You know what I mean? It was, you know, I got out of that and I came back here, and then that's when
You're really still like inspirational and just like like positive and like happy. How like?
Oh, bro, it's just like I woke up this morning, bro.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I can't complain about what more can I complain about, bro? Like my family loves me. I got people in my life that genuinely care about me. You know what I'm saying? I got food on the table, bro. No matter what I've been through, I always had a place to stay. You know what I'm saying? And like my problems are very minuscule to people who have real life problems and things going on. I have nothing to complain about. So I always practice gratitude for everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything, bro.
Where do you get your like all your gratitude posts and stuff like that? Do you just come up with those off the fly? Yes, do you go to the sauna and think?
No, I get inspiration, and then I just, you know, I'm always thinking, bro. Same. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm always writing my notepad. You know what I'm saying? If I feel something, I'll write it down. I write captions in my notepad, and I find inspiration online. I'm like, this is really good. Let me twist this up a little bit, see how I can spit it. You feel me? To make it more receptive, you know what I mean? Because everybody, my audience, I know my audience, so I know what they're more receptive to than other things. You know, some people you could say the same thing 1,000 times. People are gonna take it and feel it differently.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I've gotten good at trying to deliver messages to where everybody can retain the information effectively and not be offended. Not saying not be offended, but like it's just different. People take criticism, different things differently. You know what I mean?
What are your goals for your company now in the next 3, 5, 10 years? And I always ask everybody this: how are you on goal setting? Do you set big goals or yearly goals or anything like that, or no?
Oh, that's crazy.
I kind of just wing shit. Like I have shit where I want to be, but like I don't do like a yearly board or anything like that.
You know, I'm the same way, bro. I need to get better at it. You know what I'm saying? It's something I think I need to work on, but I just build, bro. I go with the flow and kind of go accordingly. Of course, I want it to be, you know, a 10 million, 9-figure or 8-figure brand. That'd be dope. You know what I mean? I think it could be. I know it could be. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, it's just learning along the way. You know, I still have a lot to learn. You know what I mean? I found something that's dope, and now I'm just trying to like still working on my systems operation to how, you know, there's just so much that goes into it, bro. Right now I'm a one-man team, so like I need to work on scaling and finding proper pieces to the puzzle. That's the hardest part, you know what I mean? Because I like shit done a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So trying to find people who think like me but are just as passionate about my project, even though it's not their project too. Trying to get that is really tough. And so that's what I've been working on. And obviously like running ads and stuff. Everything I've done is organic, bro. I never ran a single ad.
Damn, that's smart. That's legit too.
Yeah. So.
Do you have a routine? Are you like a big routine guy?
I wake up in the morning, bro. I practice my gratitude. I eat, go to the gym, and I work all day, and I go to sleep.
What do you do like gratitude? Just like.
I just pray to God. You know what I'm saying? I want to get better at writing in journals and stuff like that.
I don't know if you meditate. Some people meditate. I can't meditate, bro.
I'm the same fucking way, dog.
I'll do it for 60 seconds. I'm like,
I'm the same way. I try to tell people, I'm like, bro, I wish I fucking could, but my brain it doesn't turn off, bro. Like I'll sit there. And it's one thing I want to learn. I want to learn breath work and meditation, you know what I'm saying? Because it's very important.
The lady I was just telling you about, the other guest that I had, she is like a king of the breath work and meditation, stuff like that. And she swears, I told her the same thing. She goes, her husband and her brother was the same exact way. She's like, if you do this breath work, you'll meditate. And she says it like puts you in like a little kind of trance. So I'm going to do it with her, but I've never experienced that shit because I've had the excuse to have ADD, ADHD, but I can't think about that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Breath work works though. I'll give that. Breath work, because I've calmed my nervous system down before when I was like hyped up about something or I was pissed off or just breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, bro. That shit, I'm not gonna lie, that does calm me down. So like, I really want to get into breath work because I know there's a lot of benefits to it.
And find out other shit too to like not lose your temper. You know what I'm saying? Because like seriously, when I have kids now, I can't yell anymore. So I'm just trying to find any little thing to do. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause seriously, like I'd watch those explosions with my pops going up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the first one I had with my son, I was like, oh my god, I'm not my dad.
That's the worst.
Seriously, that's the first
when
thing
you
I thought,
when you see your dad, and you're like, holy fuck. I'm like, let me. I take that back.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, that was me and him. You know?
Yeah, no, I feel that 100%.
Last thing I want to say is I always like to kind of tailor this to a lot of dudes in prison. There's dudes in there sitting there and not getting out or whatever. Dudes are coming home shortly and trying to get their minds right. Any type of advice or inspirational stuff that you can give those guys 30, 60 seconds just on how you got to where you are or just anything in life?
Yeah, man. Hey, everything in life is just a chapter, man. You're the author of your own story. You have the ability to change and rewrite a new story at any given moment in your life. It's just up to you to make that decision. Like I said, everything in life is black and white. If you choose to be great and choose to change your story, then do that. You know what I'm saying? Either you're going to do that or you're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's just up to you. You know what I mean? And just finding yourself, becoming self-awareness, and like really loving yourself for who you are. I think it's a big thing in today's world is that we don't have enough people that truly love themselves. You know what I'm saying? They're conditioned by the things around them and groomed by things around them rather than finding who they are, the things they like, and the things that they love, and then loving themselves wholeheartedly. Because once you do that, nothing can tear you down.
Stop being a people pleaser and just love
Absolutely.
yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Last question. Where are you and your company going to be in 10 years?
10 years, we'll be at
Much bigger studio than this, huh?
hopefully we'll be at like a $10 million valuation. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we'll have roughly 10, 15 employees. You know, we don't need much to run this type of brand. And I want a big warehouse. I want something like this.
Yeah, right?
Shout out to Mike and Demi because this is fucking dope. So if I had a little fantasy factory where I could just have like all things I love, a gym, a basketball court, and just my product and be able to do things like this and communicate and just send impactful messages, 10 years, I think that we can make it happen.
Thank you guys for tuning in again. And make sure and go buy my boy's book and check out his
Likewise.
Instagram and everything. Real TWCO, Terrell Wallace, thank you for being here.
Absolutely,
Don't forget
bro.
to share the show.